If you're not aware during the moment, during the pain, then you'll never have the wisdom that's necessary to change or necessary to guide someone else. What's going on? It's ASM Al-Mamun here. You know, been doing affiliate marketing, Airbnb, whatever, making over 250K, $250,000 every single year for the past, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever. So I'm recording a video with you on how I was able to do that. So before, I used to be an immigrant village boy, okay? I came to America when I was 6 years old and I was insecure. I didn't know how to speak English. And I was actually what you would consider a person who is probably handicapped somehow. Okay, this is what I consider someone to be handicapped. Someone who cannot make the decision when they go out to a restaurant. Someone who is always like, hey, I'll stay away, I'll be low key, you know what I'm saying? Someone who has low self-esteem, low self-worth, someone who just cannot even raise his hand even though he knows the answer to the question the teacher is asking. That's who I was. Okay? That's the person that's how I showed up in life. Okay? I was very shy, I was not very confident, and there's no way I was able to put myself in front of a camera like this and speak to like I am now. In fact, some people will speak to a camera and then when you see them face to face, they're a completely different person, a lesser version. However, with myself, it's completely different. I'm even a better version up front, face to face. Honestly, I think we'll have a great time if we talk to each other, even if you're a hater, which is awesome. So guys, how do you change your identity? That's really where it is. If you want to change your situation, if you want to change who you are, you need to go and understand, you need to change your identity. You need to change the programming of who you are, and that's what's going to change how you act. And the way to change how you act, the way you change, the way to change your identity is twofold. Is, you go in the inner work, be aware, but also you change your behaviors. You change the actions, which is going to affect your identity. So it's both ways. You attack it both ways. You don't let it breathe. You blitz the thing. Okay? So, like I said, let's talk about, I was in high school, okay? One of the benefits that I've had and the leverage points that I've had is, alhamdulillah, I've always been a Muslim. I was born a Muslim. Was born in a Muslim family. Well, I am in a Muslim. I was born in a Muslim family and with a religious upbringing as well. Alhamdulillah. Okay, I was raised to memorize the Quran, all these kind of things. So my first day, we went to, like, when I first came here, I went to elementary school. I wore the whole thobe thing. I wore the tupi. There was a guy who took my tupi off. I didn't know how to speak English. I told him to give it back. He didn't listen. I choked him and threw him against the door. I would not let him go. And the security guard came. I would not let him go. They said, we're calling your dad. And then I let him go because I was scared of my dad. I didn't want a beating, but I did get a beating. Not because of that, though, because he appreciated the fact that I stood up for myself, okay? But that was more primal. You see, when I went to Islamic school and everything was fine. I was still wearing the thobe, still wearing the tupi, it's fine. The first day I went to middle school, okay? And this was, middle school is what, 7th grade? Yeah, 7th grade? Yeah. So I went there. It was IS 125. A lot of people remember this from my circle or whatever. Maybe you watching this right now, right? So I went there first day. It wasn't the thobe, we call it the Punjabi. I was wearing that. It has the cut on the side. So I was wearing that. I had the tupi on. And I kind of wanted to mask the fact that I was wearing a Punjabi. So I wore a vest on top of it, right? But clearly I'm wearing a Punjabi and the tupi. But because I have such an intimidating look on my face, nobody really, said anything to me. Everybody was like, oh, whatever. But people were speaking, I found out later, people were speaking about it later. Whatever it is, right? But at that time, I wanted to stay low key because I was shy, as I was insecure. A teacher was asked a question, I couldn't raise my hand. I was very nervous. In fact, there was a time I finally raised my hand. The teacher jumped out of the table and was like, oh, yes, because she knew I was smart. I took the test and I was like, oh, this is easy, light work. But I wouldn't speak up. And she's like, oh, yes, he got something to say. I know he's going to say something good. And whatever, I said something, probably it was good, right? But at that time, I used to wear shirts, and it was blue shirts, shades of blue, but on the darker side, on the low key side, things that doesn't really stand out. Very cool, like very, hey, whatever, right? That's who I was. And every time I used to go shop, I used to always choose the same shade, the same type of thing, just something low key, whatever. And then as I started going through personal development, I realized I needed to change myself. I needed to change my identity. Now, if you really think about it, your identity is the person who, it's like an avatar, okay? Think about a warrior. How does he look? What kind of identity does he have? A man of discipline, a man of strength. Maybe he has a beard. Maybe he's handsome. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's, he has a nice stare, okay? Nice gaze. Maybe, he's built, okay? Like there's a certain characteristic to that person who is a warrior, and that's his identity, right? His identity and his behavior and his beliefs and all that things as well, right? But outward is a reflection of the inward, okay? So if a person is very confident and he has a strong gaze or he has a strong eye contact, it is a good indication of his inner self, which is that he's secure in himself, he's confident in himself, and he's staring at you without faltering, and he's not trying to force it. You can tell when someone's trying to force it, and when someone really is confident, they can stare at you right in your eyes, okay? So that's a certain form of identity. So if you are not that type of person, you need to start going backwards, and trying to change these things to become that person that you want to be. So you need to work backwards. So if you want to be a confident person, you need to start doing things confident. Maybe you want to be a successful person, and right now you're not successful. Well, think about who you would be, how you would act, what kind of behaviors you would engage in, and what kind of actions you would take if you were that person that you wish you were. Would you go to a restaurant and take forever to order? Or would you be like, hey, this is what I want, like a boss, and that's it? Guess what? When I used to go to restaurants, I used to take forever to order. But then now, when I go, I look at the menu, and I kind of have a mental clock too. Like, yeah, I'm going to order something within a minute or two. And I have a system, a process that I go through to decide what I'm going to get. And once I decide I'm going to get on something, I don't change. I don't go back on myself because I have that trust with myself. I have that relationship with myself. So the way to change your identity is to start doing these little things, right? I started, you know what? I'm not going to be indecisive. My identity is a person who is decisive, who makes decisions fast, who orders at the restaurant quick, because I know if I fix the decisiveness at ordering at the restaurant, it will translate into everything else, including my business, including in everything that I do, okay? And the way you do anything is the way you do everything, so always keep that in mind. So if you try to cut, that's why everybody who works a 9-to-5 job, when I come across them and I see them cutting corners and doing that whole mouse thing, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm online, they don't know, I'm online, I'm clocking in my hours, but I'm sleeping, but I'm just keep staying online. You're cutting corners. And sure, you're scheming the company, but you're really scheming yourself. Because now you're training yourself to be a person who cuts corners, who cannot be trusted, really. Because you try to be slick, you try to be sly, it's not good. It's not a person of integrity, right? So that's really like if you were in front of me, you were to do that, I'd give you a whole lecture on it, right? Not even like that, but I make you feel bad. Not a lecture, but I make you feel bad about it. Kind of like how I spoke to you right now. But yo, like you should feel ashamed. You know what I'm saying? You do not because of someone else, because of yourself. That you have such low standard of yourself, right? That you would only be your best when somebody's looking at you, not when you're by yourself. Who thinks like that? Most people don't think like that. Anyways, this video is kind of all over the place. I have this idea to share with you how to really change your identity. Because to have a change in life, it comes from changing your identity. When you change your identity, then everything else translates itself, right? The person you are. So if you ask me, who are you? I'd say I'm a Muslim. That's ingrained in my identity. I was just thinking about that today, right? How I was busy doing a bunch of things, and I was on the move, and I was like, I gotta pray, and I always make time. I make sure I pray, whatever. I was thinking, if somebody came to me and told me, hey, you're gonna be broke, you're gonna be homeless, whatever, or you just have to give up prayer. Like, don't worry about it. God knows what's in your heart. You don't gotta pray. Stuff for the law. You don't have to pray. Just like you could be rich or whatever. You could be making money, passive income. You know what I'm saying? You could earn 100K a month, but you got to give up prayer. I mean, that's the only condition. And sadly, a lot of people, I don't know if it's a lot of people, but some people will take that. And when I say some people, I mean Muslims. And because that identity has not been ingrained in them. Okay? But for myself, I would never do that. I would let go of everything. I'll let go of everything. Literally everything. Right? But I'm not gonna mess with my relationship with the Lord. Because the relationship with the Lord is a relationship with myself. And as I increase my relationship with the Lord, as I increase myself. It just happens. I'm telling you from experience. It just happens. Allah bestows His mercy and His blessings upon you as you go towards Him. As you realize, hey, He's the one that gives everything. All right, we're kind of going on tangents here. Changing your identity. Stay on topic here. All right, changing your identity. Identify the parts in your life that are not conducive, that are not aligned, that are not if you were to create the perfect character, would that character have those behaviors that you are doing right now? And would he be sleeping in? Imagine you had the perfect life. Imagine you had an amazing life. Would you be sleeping in? Imagine you had everything you want. And sadly, even if you did have everything you want, you would still wake up and sleep back in, right? Which is very sad. But imagine you had the perfect life. I feel like everybody kind of has a vision. Like if you don't have a vision of who you would be at your best self, you're in trouble. You need to start working on yourself. Because as you start working on yourself, you start to notice change. As you start to notice change, you start to envision who you could be if you keep going that way. So if you're in that position where you can't even envision who you could be, start looking at your favorite heroes, right? Start looking at your favorite movie actor or actress. Start looking at your favorite sports player or whatever, right? Although it's like, I don't want to advise that because like a lot of the players, like they have a lot of things that, it's just like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever, drugs and alcohol and all these kind of things. I'm against all of those things. But the point is, look at someone whom you admire and be like, okay, who is this person? How would he behave? And you start to behave that way. And then what kind of beliefs would he have? And you start to instill those beliefs in you. And what kind of philosophies, what kind of actions, what kind of life would he live? And you start to live that life. And the greatest example for this is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. And this is one of the things that I've been realizing more and more, which is that, I can try to find the perfect balance of life and perfect things. And honestly, the truth is already there. Allah has given it to us in the Quran and in the best of examples, which is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. So now it has made my search and my decision so much easier. As I increase my knowledge in the Deen, in Islam, and in studying my hero, which is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam, it makes everything easy. Because if I believe in the Lord, and the Lord sent out the book, then that's the guidance, that's the guidebook, right? And He said this is the best example who follows everything. So it's simple now. Okay, it's simple. I'm not lost anymore. I know what to do. It's just whether I want to go ahead and do that or not. So hopefully you got something out of this video. I know I was kind of all over the place. I actually just made a little challenge with one of my students who I'm kind of working with now. And I told her, you're going to make a video and I'm going to make a video. And now she's making a video, hopefully, and I'm making a video. And I'm always a man of my word. Try to be. So I have made this video. And although I haven't fully refined this thought of, hey, how to change your identity, like I said, before I used to wear these blue shirts. And then I went and actually, every time I used to shop, I forcefully chose to buy something else. So instead of buying blue, I bought orange. And instead of buying blue, I bought a purple one. I was like, I'm going to go the extreme other side. And so chances are, if you really hate yourself, and you hate who you are, and you hate your life, it's because of the things that you engage in. And you need to really drastically change your identity. And that could be changed by going to a different environment. That could be changed by doing different things, and definitely by wearing different things. Because the way someone presents himself, whatever someone wears is what they're kind of representing. Okay? If someone comes out here, right, and they start dressing like a thug, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, whatever, and they start pulling out the blings. I got my blings. Got my blings too. I'm always. This is like, if there's anything about my identity or my avatar, I'm always wearing this. So somebody be like, "Oh, you're wearing that, right?" But like, and I have the toupee on. That's usually what I always have. And obviously I have the beard, which is kind of crazy now. You know what I'm saying? But if, like, when you wear something, it tells to the outer world and to yourself who you are and what you represent and what you believe, right? Because just think about it. If you're a person of shame, then you would wear something completely different than if you're a person of no shame. True or not? True or false? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments, because I know everybody has different beliefs, and I would love to talk about these beliefs with everybody. I love talking about it, and because I love debating, right? That's really what it is. But if you're a person of no shame, you know what's crazy, bro? I live in New York City, right? I go outside. New York City, that's why I made that video about lowering your gaze, because it's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. Like, they just show everything. It's crazy. So, sometimes you catch, like, even the ones that are literally wearing nothing, they're not wearing anything, bro. They're not wearing anything. Okay? And, like, remember, lowering your gaze gives you power. But, sometimes I'll just, like, catch them. Like, I'm just, like, looking at just there. And I'll catch them or whatever. Like, they're crossing the street. It's like you can't, like, you have to close your eyes to not see anything all day. Like, then you're gonna crash yourself. But, like, you notice these things, and, like, even though they're not wearing anything, they'll still, when they feel like they still have some shame in them, and they just like pull it down a little bit, or they cover a little bit or whatever, like some shame in them as well. So it's instilled in us. What's my point? Why am I saying all this? What we wear and how we show up is a representation of how we believe and what we think about ourselves. So if you're the type of person who comes in all messy, it tells the world who you are. You're a messy person. If your car is messy, if I come into your car and if I see it to be a messy car, then I know, okay, this person is a messy person. This person isn't unorganized. This person's mind is probably all over the place, because the fact that they can coexist in this kind of chaos, it means their mind is chaotic. Because I'll tell you this, I was in that position, and I had to make that change as well. Where now I don't like chaos. I like chaos only where, like, it's a challenge, and I thrive in chaos. But what I'm saying is, I don't like my place to be unorganized, because if I see it, I get upset. I was like, okay, I gotta change this. I gotta, everything needs to be organized here. Okay, I don't want to spend mental energy looking for things here. Right? I need my mind to be clear. Okay, so these are very important things, guys. If you're really starting your journey on this personal development, you really want to change, is you need to start thinking about identity. That's really what it comes down to, your identity. Because when you become a person of discipline, then you, even when you slip up, and even when you make a mistake, it's easier to fall back to the right path, because you're like, nah, I'm a disciplined person. Even though I missed today, I'm not gonna miss, because that's not me. I'm a disciplined person. That's uncharacteristic of me, right? For example, a Muslim, right? I pray 5 times a day, alhamdulillah, right? And I pray that Allah allows me to pray 5 times a day, every single day, never stop, inshallah. I also pray that for you. I also pray we all have long lives, inshallah. But even if I miss a prayer, I will not be, if I miss a prayer, I'm uneasy. I was like, no, my identity is that person who prays 5 times a day. And so, even though I slipped up, I'm going to make sure I correct it now, because I'm a person who prays 5 times a day, right? If someone says Assalamu alaikum, I know it's wajib, it's obligatory for me to say wa alaikum salam. The person literally wished peace upon me in my life. Who am I? Like, how disrespectful for me to not wish it back. And so I'm going to say it, right? And so this is the difference, right? When you have an identity change, when you think about identity, even when you make mistakes, you will stay aligned. You will go right back. Because the problem is when someone wants to change, and then the thing is that their identity, they don't focus on changing their identity. And so when they do something different, when you do something different, which is something that you want to do, it's actually you slipping up from your identity. So if you have your identity, which is where you want to be, then when you slip up, it's like, oh, I'm slipping up from my identity. Even so, then your slip up changes, right? Now, when you try to make progress, it's like a slip up because your identity is different. But when you but when your identity is the right identity that you want, that 1% the best version of yourself, when you make that right identity, and when you slip up, then that's the negative that you don't want, right? And so now you'll go back to your identity. It's like a rubber band that goes back, whatever. I think you guys get it. Let me know in the comments if I explained this properly. I'm sure I'll make more videos about this because I think this is very important. It has really changed my life, and I know I shared a lot of things in this video. Let me know like what you got out of this. Just let me know your feedbacks. I'm just trying to be more consistent in these as well. Just sharing how I have been able to make drastic changes, right? Listen, immigrant village boy, used to work in Dallas barbecue, $7.25 an hour. Used to be a shy kid, could not talk to a single stranger, could not articulate myself, could not speak English. In fact, my teacher was I was so embarrassed. This is why I can speak English the way I can speak right now. Because I remember there was a word I couldn't pronounce or I couldn't say, and the teacher was trying to make me say it in ESL class. And because I couldn't get it, she literally turned around and buried her face on this. And it's fine, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's a woman, she's emotional. She cannot handle her emotions. You can't do that in front of a child, right? You affect them. And just because I said that does not, I only said that to trigger those of you here. I don't have anything against her. I love these things because it has really shaped who I am. But what I'm saying is that's what happened. And so that's what prompted me to be, what? I started reading books and I can speak English the way I do now. Alhamdulillah. Next challenge is Arabic. So went from that. I didn't have much confidence. Used to sleep in till like 4 p.m. Used to waste so much time all throughout the day. Try to make my first dollar online. Then once I figured things out, my first breakthrough in 4 days, I went from $31 to $1,334 in a single day. Okay, that's when I had my breakthrough in affiliate marketing. And then within 90 days, I went from $0 to $116,000. That's within 90 days. And then I did a bunch of other stuff. I became top 1% of ClickBank pretty much every year. In fact, I have this award right here. This is my room right here. I just have a few supplies here for my Airbnb business, which I made a video about. That business brings us anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 a month. These are things that I was able to do, but I had to grow within myself to be able to do these kind of things, right? And so the chaos that happens in here, a lot of you guys will give up and be like, oh, damn, I can't handle this. But the only time you can handle these things is when you keep improving yourself. So this is an award you get. I got this award. Can you see this? You can't see it. So I want you to see my name so you know there's no games here. See that? ASM Al-Mamun. Guys, literally, you see that bag right there on that chair? That's my book bag, okay? That's literally my office. That's my office. My book bag is my office. I put my laptop in there and my charger, and I always carry like notebooks and stuff with me. And that's it. I can work anywhere. I've worked on a business class, Qatar Airways, when I was coming back from Bangladesh on COVID. I've worked in lounges and the airports. I've worked in different countries. I've worked in the village, next to cows and chickens. You can do that when you're building an online business. But the thing is, you have to first believe and you have to change your identity to start making things happen. So that's why I was able to that's why my change was it seemed like so drastic. In 4 days, I went from $31 a day to $1,334.43 in a day, right? That was my drastic change. Then within 90 days, $116,000. Then consistently earning these awards. Basically, this is when you earn generate over $250,000 every single year, and then you get one of these awards. It means you're one of the top 1% of ClickBank. ClickBank is this. It's a marketplace where you can promote other people's products. You don't have to create them. No customer service. You just got to promote them, right? That's something that I help teach as well. If you want any help with those kind of things, or even just like this, right? I want to create it. I was just having this talk with one of my students here. And I was telling, and we're working on this stuff as well. But I was telling her, you know what? I want to create a community of like-minded people who love personal development, who love talking about what I just talked about right now. This kind of things. You know how much this is the greatest high that not the greatest high. There's greater highs than this, which we'll talk about later. But this is one of the greatest highs you'd get, personal development. And so, I'm just like, imagine just having a group and everybody just talking about what they're working on, what they've improved, how they're improving, how they're changing, what kind of perspective they have, what kind of wisdom they've gained because of their experiences. Imagine that kind of community. And so I would love, and right now I'm just talking to you on the camera, I would love to be on a call and with like, a bunch of us together, 20, 30, 100, 200, 2,000, 20,000 people just talking, just sharing. Hey, this is what's happening. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Hey, this is something I've been trying. It's working for me. Hey, this is how I improve my fitness. Hey, this is how I improve my speaking skills. Hey, this is how I improve my YouTube channel. Hey, this is how I improve my income. It's gonna be amazing, inshallah. So, anyways, if you want, if you like personal development stuff, but like affiliate marketing or Airbnb, message me on DMs, on Instagram. Don't waste my time. I'd love to help you, but I like only serious people. And leave me a comment. And if you like my face, just subscribe to the channel so you can see more of my face. Stay on attack mode. Peace.